Yes, I'm here today representing Access Industry, and I'm going to inform everyone just a little bit more about how apprenticeships work, but most particularly the creative side of apprenticeships. Getting paid whilst you're learning and delving into it all a little bit more with what we do. So yeah, next slide was fine, not a problem. Getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. Um, so creative apprenticeships are a growing way, are growing, sorry, and are a way to earn money, learn, as I mentioned previously. And a lot of people think that you need a degree, as this quote says, to work, particularly in creative industries, but more so even in some of the roles that we do advertise for within, as John mentioned previously, around like the business support side of things or teaching side of things, sports side. You don't need degrees and all of that. I mean, I come at it from both angles now. I went down the school, college, university route, and now I've worked in apprenticeships for 12 years, and I've seen how apprenticeships have evolved and changed over those last 12 years. And I would never discourage anyone to go to university by all means. But if I had my time again, I'd go back and do apprenticeships, knowing what I know now about those apprenticeships. Um, so I would always encourage people to look into apprenticeships as well. Never just, put it on the back burner and think, well, I'll go to university first, and then if I don't like it, then I'll have a look. Always have a look with the same commitment and effort as if you are going to university as well. Um, and there's so many. I mean, you can do an apprenticeship in pretty much anything now. There's hundreds and thousands of apprenticeship training providers out there, not just us. And again, I say that because I'll always encourage people to look into everything. If there's a certain topic of interest, subject, industry, or anything you're interested in doing, have a look, and 9 times out of 10, it'll be there. But obviously, Access Industry is where to go for the creative side of apprenticeships, as we are, one of very, very, very few training providers who do actually offer the creative apprenticeships. So next slide, please. I feel like Boris Johnson when it was COVID. Um, so the why the creative industries need you. I mean, there's so many stats around this, and these are just a select four that are on the screen in front of you, as you can see. But these trends underline a dual challenge. So there's a growing demand and there's a sinking supply of skilled entrants. So quite a lot of businesses, again, throughout all sectors and industries, require certain skilled people, if you like, but recruitment companies find them hard to find. So a lot of them now are going down the route of apprentices. I mean, you guys will know you may have little, to basic knowledge skills within creative, the creative world and things you might come across. But will obviously train you on all of that, and that's what companies are now buying into a lot more. The shortage of skilled people, especially in backstage and production, design, digital roles. I was only at an event last week where I was speaking to a fella who was 52, still trying to get into the creative world, but just has very, very no skills really, but also wasn't prepared to be doing an apprenticeship either because of his age, and that's because he was thinking, well, the age thing, which I'll come on to in a couple of slides in a minute as well. I'm too old to do an apprenticeship, and you're not. I know there's an old saying of you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but genuinely, when it comes to the world of apprenticeship, you can. There's always something to learn. There's an old saying that goes round of every day is a school day, and it is. Every day you will learn something new, and that's why apprenticeships are so good. They are constantly, changing, evolving, new things, new trends, new patterns all come out, new in the world of creative, new systems, new processes, new platforms, anything that comes out, and then that training needs to happen. So whilst that training is happening, we implement it into the apprenticeships as well. Next slide, please. So these are also just a few numbers. So over 337,000 people started an apprenticeship last year. More than 5 million have started since 2010. 85% stay in work after their apprenticeship, and nearly half of that age group are over the age of 25. Like as I just mentioned from the previous slide, it's never too late. Our typical, I think, age range at the moment is 18 to 26 of apprentices that we've got, but we've got an awful lot of people who are in 30s as well, mainly existing staff members, again, who are in those roles that are willing to be upskilled and trained. Um, so that's a small snapshot of just some apprenticeship in numbers, but these are constantly changing daily and always rising. Next slide, please. So what a creative apprenticeship really means, so it's working in a creative company, it's earning a salary from day one as you are learning as well. It's training with industry experts, but then also having access industry experts from the apprenticeship side of things to be there to support you as well. So I'll always explain to businesses and creative industries that it's a bit of a love triangle in a way. The way this apprenticeship works, it's yourselves being happy as students and learners on apprenticeships, it's the business being happy with yourselves, and it's us being happy with both the business and the learner and what's being provided. We will always be there to, train on the knowledge and the behaviours, if you like, but also the behaviours and the skills will come from the business understanding as well. Um, Within an apprenticeship, you will also be guaranteed at least 6 hours per week of your learning towards your qualification. And that can be set out however, agreed upon with yourself and the business. If that's an hour and a little bit per day, if that's 2 half days per week, if it's a full day per week. A lot of businesses timetable it in different ways. It just depends what you're doing in the job role based in the industry that you're in. But we don't want you to be working, let's say, a typical 9 to 5 job and then going home and doing more work on your qualification training. It's a lot more of an apprenticeship is a business buying into the fact that they need to be allowing you time to work on training, upskilling yourself, knowledge, all of that. So um, making sure that you're given the time within work is really important, and that's something we agree with the business at the very start. So once you do start onto an apprenticeship, you'll know exactly where you stand with that. But you're also building a professional portfolio to show employers, as mentioned on the previous couple of slides there, quite a lot of apprentices, when they complete, get taken on full time by the business. It's not an obligation by the business for that to happen by any means. And that's a conversation that we all have in anything between 12 and 21 months, if you like, depending on different qualification lengths. But that business may want to keep you. You may be grateful and thankful for everything that you've learned and done and achieved in your time on the apprenticeship. But then you may want another challenge in a different business, or you progress to a different qualification opportunity. Um, and likewise, there may not be that full-time opportunity at the business. Usually, again, 9 times out of 10, we will work with businesses who've got that long-term ambition, and the longevity in training a new apprentice and taking them on. They're the types of businesses and companies we want to be working with, particularly in the creative world as well. We get quite a lot of success with that. So yeah, it's about building that professional portfolio anyway, so that if things do change in 12 to 18 to 20 months time, you've got that portfolio to then show to a potential new employer as well. Um, and so the main thing to understand with an apprentice, it's okay, don't worry. The main thing to understand with an apprenticeship is you're not just a young person going in making cups of teas and coffees. That's all changed. That's 10, 20, 30 years ago of apprenticeships, that typical trade work, if you like, in hairdressing kind of thing, of just photocopying, making cups of teas and all of that. That's all changed. You're now actually genuinely a professional in training. Next slide, please. So, Access Industry, who are we? We're a national training provider based all over the UK, specialising in digital events, film, software development, sport, business education. And we're also going into the teaching world now as well, to support with in-class teaching assistants. So in collaboration with some of the most influential industry employers nationwide, and just to name a few of them, particularly in the creative world, again, it's Disney, PRG, White Light, Live Nation, and many more. Royal Opera House are another who are a very big company and take apprentices from us. We are 100% endpoint assessment completion rate. So every single apprentice who gets to endpoint assessment with us, which is the final assessment at the end of apprenticeship, passes. Not many training providers can say that with that stat. We are 4% above our national average achievement, the national average achievement, sorry. And 75% of those learners who do pass with of the 100%, 75% of them achieve distinction, which again is very high level percentage of the top level that you can come out with, really. Next slide, please. So these are the different apprenticeship offers that I touched on just on the previous slide there. So this gives a little bit more of an overview and an insight into many of those qualifications. So education tied into the sport one there, as I mentioned, on teaching assistant, but the amount of events, production, TV and film qualifications we offer there in the creative world, not many training providers offer all of them either. And they're at various different levels as well, between level 3 and level 4 in some of them. And then again, same into the digital and the marketing world. So content creator and multi-channel marketer are both level 3. And as of January, we'll be branching out onto the marketing executive level 4. So it just gives a little bit more of again, the longevity that I spoke about before of, if you do get taken on, you don't need to stop that learning there. There's always more learning that can happen. So if you feel like you want to then progress onto the next level and go to take yourself and your role, but even the business to the next level and do more learning, you can go on to that next step of the level above, and take, your role, become an expert in your role, in your field, within the business, and do further studies as well. So yeah, all of those qualifications can be found on our website as well, with a little bit more information and in depth. But if there's any on there that stand out to you as well, note them down. And what I would also encourage is, if you go onto the Skills England website, or if into Google, just type in, let's say for example, business administrator apprentice or live event technician apprenticeship, type that in onto Google, it'll bring up everything that would be involved. So when I talk about skills, knowledge and behaviours, they're the components that make up an apprenticeship. You can go in and look at what those skills, knowledge and behaviours are around that, typical job roles, typical job titles that might be suited to that. And if you're someone sitting there thinking, I don't know what I want to do when I'm older, I don't know what type of apprenticeship I want to look into, I don't know what sort of job role I want to be in. If you do that and look into those qualifications there, you'll be able to see the types of job opportunities that these qualifications can take you to right now when studying, but also long term, or other avenues that they can take you down once you've achieved this qualification as well. Okay, next slide, please. So why learners choose apprenticeship? So again, I mentioned earlier I went down the college and university route. Just a brief background was I trained to be a teacher during time at university, and as I was enrolling to a PGCE, I met my now wife, who's a head teacher, and was a teacher at the time, and that just it put me off really, working the late nights with the holidays and all that aren't what they make out to be, with having to go back into schools and everything. So I actually went into teaching 16 to 24-year-olds in apprenticeships. So I was actually delivering apprenticeship qualifications, but then got into the more of the, I head up the apprenticeships now at Access Industry, and involved and responsible for sales, bringing new business on board, account managing and all of that. So I've also found that a lot more people are, I mean, even with the apprentices that we're taking on now, a lot more people are dropping out of university or completing a year, 2 years, 3 years, still can't get into that career employment ladder, and then are going, onto an apprenticeship in something slightly different, but will on a journey that'll take them back to where they want to go. And that's completely fine. So, you can do university and then do an apprenticeship. You can do an apprenticeship and then do university. But I think the key factors which are noted on here with apprenticeships are, you'll earn money while you're learning. There is no student debt. I mean, I'm 35 now, and I think I only just finished paying my student debts off last year. So, working from the age of 17, and then, starting university and having to pay all that back, that's only just stopped for me. You get a recognised qualification still. It's backed by employers. You are encouraged by employers. You're encouraged by us. There's so much support out there. And these qualifications are not just Mickey Mouse qualifications whereby it won't get you into the career ladder that, friends or other family members might have gone to university to do. You will still get all of that as well. You're gaining real experience. So a lot of people are coming out of university trying to find jobs, but being told you've got no experience. Whereas on an apprenticeship, you're genuinely getting the best of both worlds. You're getting that qualification, albeit not level 6, 7, 8 as university is, but you can still study qualifications to get you to that level, but whilst you're working and earning money at the same time. You get your mentor support, access industry coaches, here to help you the whole way through. But not just the tutors and the coaches. There's people like myself who are account managers, sales, business development, recruitment team. There's so many other people, safeguarding, additional learning support departments, the functional skills department. There's so many other people here to support you as well, not just you, your tutor and your line manager in the business. There's so many others within the business of Access who can support you. And it's your career launchpad. As we've mentioned time and time again, most apprentices stay in the industry or move into higher roles within the business as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just a little short video about some of our apprentices that I'd like everyone to take a listen to.
I was at a sort of point in my career where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, whether to continue on the path I was on or to go into something completely different that I know I thoroughly enjoy. I'm developing that sound knowledge base for the equipment, the terms and phrases that I used on set by gaffers, best boys and other sparks that will help me to become competent in the role and to demonstrate that as well. I would advise people to go into it with an open mind, be open to learning, not necessarily forget everything you know before you walk in the door, but definitely have that open mindset when it comes to learning about all of the equipment.
I love sports, I love football. When I seen that the opportunity was there for me to apply for this apprenticeship, I didn't hesitate, I went straight for it because I knew this is something I want to do, it's something that will help me progress, get better in my career, and I just knew it was a step in the right direction. For me personally, I learn better practically rather than sat in front of a screen or a book all the time. Obviously with the apprenticeship you still have that element, but it's not constant. So for example, I take a call once a month, get sent an assignment, I have a month to complete it. The rest of the time I'm out delivering, doing admin, meetings with the team. So it's just a way for me to learn on the job. I would say to someone thinking about doing an apprenticeship that it's a way to learn on the job. Even if you go into full-time, you are learning on the job, but doing an apprenticeship, you get given that time to apply that learning, make sure that you understand everything.
So live events was never really on my radar. Prior to my last job, I was just a warehouse worker. So I never really thought about going into the TV industry. I've got a family friend who used to be a gaffer on TV shows, and he has friends in the industry, and he told me about this great opportunity. Walking into this, I had no knowledge of any of this equipment at all, so everything I'm doing, from setting up simple lights to working with LEDs, massively boosted my technical knowledge. I've never been interested in school. I've always been quite hands-on, so for me university was never really on the cards. An opportunity like this, perfect for me.
My preferred learning is like doing it more than just learning it and just like watching someone tell me, oh, this is how you do this. Like I need to do it as well to fully like understand, and because I think you do better when you actually do it when you just learn it, So yeah, with apprenticeships you can learn hands-on experience and work at the same time.
I chose to take this apprenticeship because I think it's a great opportunity to gather up all of that technical knowledge that we need in order to work and be confident on set. and I chose to work in the film industries because I've been always fascinated by it, and since I was very little. Actually, my background is VFX, visual effects post-production, and now I would love to move into working as it.
Okay, so hopefully everyone understood a little bit more as well from the feedback of some of those apprentices there, just in regards to how it works and the enjoyment that they are getting out of, the roles that they're in and the benefits that they've noticed themselves since being in the roles, and just, how they got to where they are now. Next slide, please. Okay, so some common myths and truths, if you like. So like I mentioned, a lot of people think they can't do apprenticeships if they go to university, but I also did say that you can do an apprenticeship and go to uni. You can go to uni and then go and do an apprenticeship. But it's an apprenticeship is just someone who wants to learn slightly different. You heard the young lad say before about how university was never really on the cards for him. He didn't really engage correctly in a not correctly, but in the way that he should have, maybe in the classroom. So I wanted to be a little bit more hands-on, and some apprenticeships do lean themselves to being a little bit more hands-on than others. Some aren't as hands-on, but the truth of the matter is that you are working and you are learning through being involved, which is something else that somebody else mentioned on the video. A lot of apprentices stay in work after their apprenticeship, so they stay in full-time employment, go on to a full-time salary. So that myth of they don't lead to real jobs, they genuinely do. People who say you can't work in the creative industry with an apprenticeship, you can. Again, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the creative industries who do take the apprentices from us get kept on. We've actually got apprentices who've been kept on full time and are now in such senior roles within the creative industry. They've got apprentices working underneath them, and they're mentoring other apprentices, which again is probably the highest, the most respectable case study you can say for any. Really, the fact that if you could imagine in 12 to 20 months time that you're gonna have completed an apprenticeship, no longer be classed as an apprentice, if you like, but then have an apprentice working underneath you, someone that you can support and guide and train to become the next version of you as well. That's such a positive. And people will say, but an apprenticeship isn't a degree. You can do apprenticeship degrees now. You can do high level apprenticeships. So they are genuinely taking over the world of education, but employment as well. So don't let some of the myths fool you, or be put off by certain things. It would be my advice. Next slide, please. Okay, and how to apply. I'm not encouraging everyone to sit here right now and start applying right now so that we get loads and loads of applicants today. But what I would advise is we offer a free recruitment service, and I've been there where I've come out of school, college, university, and been told by my parents, go and look for jobs, go and look for employment. And it is hard. It's a slog. I won't lie, and a lot of us can vouch for that. The fact that we've got a free recruitment service, use us, let us be there to help you. Register your interest. Leave a comment of what it is you might be interested in, whether that's a certain industry, whether it's a certain qualification, and anything that comes up, even if we've got no live vacancy right now, something comes up in the near future, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it might be. We've got your contact details on our record. We can contact you and say, we know you expressed interest in this. Are you still interested? But our recruitment team and people like myself and Katie and John and everyone who can speak to a lot of employers, we're essentially doing that donkey work for you, if you like, by going to find these opportunities and then just marrying you to these opportunities. And that's what our free recruitment service allows us to do. And the fact that we can then tell employers, we've got someone already who's applied for this role. We don't even need to advertise it for you. We've got someone we can put in place. us and the recruitment team and wider sales team, we can lean on us. And that's my advice to anybody whenever I go and do career sessions, school sessions, college presentations, anything like that. Always use us, and not even just us at Access. There's loads of other people out there, as I mentioned at the very start, but use us. Submit an application online, do a little phone screen interview with our recruitment team, find out what it is you genuinely want to do, ask more questions if you've got more questions from today, and yeah, we'll be able to help from there. So hopefully that gives a little bit more information and understanding to everybody. And then the last slide is just a couple of QR codes. So, you know, you can scan the one to register your interest. You can scan the one to apply for a certain vacancy. Our vacancy page is updated, I would say, well, on a daily basis, but new vacancies are tending at the minute to come on every week to 10 days. There's always new opportunities coming up. It's my job and Katie's job to bring on around 5 new vacancies a month, but it's also our recruitment team job, Kaylee and Jenna, to try and fill 3 to 4 vacancies each per month. So as quick as we're putting vacancies on, our recruitment team are trying to fill them, because that's for the best interest of the employers first and foremost there, but also the amount of applicants that we do have. We're obviously trying to get them into work and apprenticeships as quickly as possible. So if that's something you are genuinely interested in looking into doing, register your interest with us. We'll be in touch. Apply for a vacancy if there's one that stands out to you on our website right now, and we'll go from there with it. So thank you everyone for your time and for listening to me ramble on.